Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Daily Quest. It is episode number 31, and my name is Solid Jake. Now, it's been a bit of a break due to the holidays. Was away for more than a week at this point due to Christmas, New Year's, all of that good stuff. But it was glorious. I ate lots of tasty food, and it's good to be home. My newest obsession is Star Citizen. I saw Star Wars. I was a big fan of it, and then I dove into Star Citizen. I've been having a lot of fun with that. It's very fun. I guess the other bit of news is my computer has decided to start blue screening of death about twice a day. Did it once today. So hopefully the second one will not be during this episode. We're gonna really just kind of cross our fingers and hope that doesn't happen. But yes, today we're talking about Tassadar, and I really felt compelled to talk about something StarCrafty due to all my sci-fi-ness right now and everything I'm doing with Star Wars being so prominent. But Tassadar is actually seeing some really cool, diverse play styles. Now, through the history of Tassadar for a long time was more of an assassin than a support. He was all about just getting static charge, and then you would go Archon, and you'd be a very DPS centric hero, a bit of a hybrid between a ranged slash support slash in your face with Archon mode. But Tassadar has seen quite a few changes, and primarily to his shield. But he's also seen some talent changes, and Force Wall is arguably the best form of initiation in the game because it allows you to really just... did I say Archon? I think I said Force Wall. I wanted to say Force Wall. Let's hope I said Force Wall, because Force Wall is just phenomenal for initiating on your opponents, stopping their ability to escape from a fight, and it's good in just about every single situation as long as you use it properly. Of course, if you're untrained with Force Wall, you could cause problems for your team, and this could be inconvenient to say the least. But we've been seeing some pretty cool, diverse styles of Tassadar pop up in the recent tournaments, and per usual, we're looking at Enter the Storm today, and we're going to be looking at two different builds. Now, one of them is a solo support Tassadar, and the other one is kind of a new form of Archon Tassadar that I thoroughly enjoy. Hello, cat. And she is on my lap. Well, let's take a look at those builds. Now, solo support Tassadar, it's really just, about as supporty as you could imagine Tassadar be. And just pardon me because I am actually getting a little bit sick right now. So if I sound a little bit more nasally than normal, I apologize. So... level 1, that is actually the incorrect talent. I have clicked there, so I must apologize. It should be Conjurer's Pursuit. So that is, I don't know how I managed to click Reinforced Structure. Not really an ideal talent. I will make sure I correct that for the actual build that I will link in the description. So level 1, all right, cat, you got to go away. Level 1, you go for Conjurer's Pursuit. The other options, if you're feeling more compelled to go Psi Fusion for the mana retention, it can work. Conjurer's Pursuit is just a little bit of a different style, and it's great for the late game. It's just, inherent mana return, which is great. Overload, the increased range, and Reinforced Structure. In some scenarios, and Sky Temple could be kind of neat, but it's kind of a lot to commit to when you could really just use the extra mana. When you get to level 4, you're actually just going to go for Leeching Plasma. It's 30% of damage done, restored his health, and while your shield is active, and the shield pretty much stays active for 5 seconds. You can just keep that on the targets. It's just good to get any kind of healing onto any of your heroes, right? You think about a Raynor that has that auto attack. He has a lot of auto attack. He's going to get a lot of healing. You think of Vala, Illidan. Illidan's not really popular right now, but this is just really good to just give Tassadar a bit of actual healing, because without this, he doesn't really have much healing. Mental Acuity is good if you're really worried about stealthies. Healing Ward, too situational and not enough. It's just not going to be as significant as what you can get out of Leeching Plasma. And Promo, if Tassadar is not your only support, maybe you could consider it. Level 7, you're going to go for Kala's Embrace. This is, again, going to give permanent shield, so you can kind of start spamming shields. It only retains 50% of the shield, but, it will last until that damage is taken on that target. Deep Shift is really cool for some aggressive plays with Force Wall, but again, not really going to have the kind of support you need for your team if you're the lone support. So still support would not use that. Static Charge used to be the go-to. You used to only get Static Charge. Like no other talents were even worth considering at level 7. But times have changed. And of course, Mule, very situational, does have its place in a lot of scenarios. But you're giving up Callous Embrace for that. If you have another support, definitely worth considering on a map like Sky Temple. But this full support build would be Conjurer's Pursuit, Leeching Plasma, Callous Embrace, and then Force Wall at level 10. Now, Force Wall, just a great initiation. We'll see plenty in the replays of why this is such a good heroic. And then when we get down to level 13 and 16, it's all about your Dimensional Warp. So, or Dimensional Shift, because you're going to pick up Prescience and then Dimensional Warp at 13 and 16, just to make Tassadar really, really hard to kill, have a lot of self-sustainability, and it's just great utility there. And at 20, Tassadar might need, he's all about the shields. Why not grab Storm Shield? Also just gives him some AoE sustain, and this is the only AoE sustain he's going to get at all. So this is a big deal for him, allowed to just use that snap call and then throw the shields down on the priority targets when it's needed. Makes a huge difference in his role as a support, especially in the late game. So that's the full support Tassadar, and we'll take a look at a replay of that in a minute. But the other build we're going to look on today is one of the more unique builds I've seen in a long time, and it was a lot of fun to really just kind of see some new styles pop out. So in this build, he's opting to go with Psi Infusion, which again, this is, you could go Conjurer's Pursuit as the other form of mana retention. This is a lot of times just preference based. So we're gonna see Psi Infusion in this game, and then he's going for Leeching Plasma and Callous Embrace, and I was just like, oh, it's just gonna be another standard Tassadar support build. And then we saw Archon get picked, and I was like, all right, this is weird, like automatically weird. It's not a lone support Tassadar. I believe he has Malfurion with him in this game, but we see Archon paired with Distortion Beam for that 20% slow every time you auto attack. So you're going to get in the face of the target. Archon really needs to be able to slow the target down to do the damage. But on top of that, he goes for Evasive Shielding at level 16, where this will give you 25% additional movement speed while your shields are active, and you can just spam your shields. So you can pretty much have 25% bonus movement speed while in Archon form, while slowing the targets you're chasing. And this makes Tassadar like a really, really cool hybrid hero. He's got lane clear with Psi Storm. He's good for pushing out lanes. He's got sustain for his allies when he needs it, but he's kind of like a in-your-face, like half-ranged, half-melee hero that's super hard to get away from, and he's constantly slowing you with this build. Really, really cool utility. At level 20, this could be situational. I think go for Dark Archon, like just get that fat DPS. This is going to make it last even longer too. You've got the increased attack range, excuse me. And it's just going to make Tassadar a huge nuisance, and you cannot get away from him. So once Tassadar's on you, but you have to remember that when you do this style of Tassadar, you don't have the same kind of survivability as when you go for Prescience and you go for a Dimensional Warp, because that makes Tassadar like nearly unkillable. But you're getting rid of those two talents to be a little bit more aggressive. This is because you have a second healer, and you're assuming that your shields and the second healer and the mobility will be enough to stay alive, but you do need to be a little bit more careful. This is kind of like once you can really go on a target, you get that Archon and you just dive in and you go for them. But we'll be taking a look at these two replays today and seeing how these two styles really flesh out when it comes to a competitive environment, or just in general based on the compositions that we're looking at. But let's go get the replay ready. We're going to take a look at the support style first. And I actually don't think I updated my little overlay, so because my computer crashed with those beautiful blue screens of death. So let me just quickly do that, and then we will be on our way. This is episode 31 with Tassadar, and this is again from the Enter the Storm EU number 4 qualifiers. And we're going to see... This is, I believe this is from the grand finals of the most recent event. I watch a lot of replays, so sometimes they all kind of mesh together in my head, but I think we are good with this. All right. Loading on in to our game we've got Unonix versus Goofers. And we're going to see that lone support Tassadar. On his team, we've got Kael'thas, Falstad, Vala, and Johanna. Johanna, great for that upfront lane clear. And then 3 ranged assassins. So the triple ranged assassin, all of them have a fairly strong auto attack that's going to make Leeching Plasma pretty valuable, and Johanna has a lot of self-sustain, so she's going to work well with this style of composition. Their opponents, they've got a stronger front line, they've got the Thrall, and they've got the ETC, then Tyrande and Raynor, and Nova. But Nova's going to struggle a little bit because Tassadar is one of the best heroes in the game versus Stealthies, just because Oracle reveals their location. Nova's all about getting those gathering power stacks, and Tassadar is just a great response to that style of play, whether it be Nova, Zeratul, whatever it might happen to be. Just looking at the talents really quick, we can see he goes for Conjurer's Pursuit. We see the auto attack focus here for Falstad. This is, very much the norm for Falstad players right now. It's going to be a multi-shot build here out of Vala, just wanting to be able to clean up those lanes as quickly as possible. And to have the, once we spec into it a little bit more, she'll probably go for the reach on it, just have the additional range to maybe poke and deny capture of some of the altars in this game. BZ is taking a lot of damage and Venom going off, or just the poisons going off so much from the Living Bomb. Definitely not in Venom, we're not even level 2 yet. But we see that Uberstream getting so very low here in the top. The first kill of the game for the blue team, taking out Nova, and Tassadar shields enough to get Kael'thas out of there. Beautiful Gravity Blast was used there as well, but with that Power Slide and Lunar Flare, we're going to see our Vala getting quite low. A very top lane centric game so far. ETC will end up falling, and just these consistent shields that can be thrown out every 5 seconds in these kind of like very active fights like that, where there's no crazy burst this early in the game, but there's a lot of abilities going off, and then targets rotating back and forth. Those shields just have incredible value, because you look at Tyrande, her cooldown is much longer than 5 seconds. So Tassadar is able to respond more frequently to that kind of damage and deny a lot of it from being done before it even happens. We do see the first altar spawning here in the bottom of the map. Slight experience lead for our blue team, and they're just going to be getting themselves into position. Johanna just stepping into some of the lightning of Thrall. He throws out his Wolf, but Falstad has plenty of peel, so no risk there, but we do see this Nova. Now Tassadar, remember, he can pop that Oracle and get eyes on Nova, and they can look for the pick off, and Oracle used immediately. They just want to know exactly where the enemy team is. We can see what the layout is, what they're trying to do. Nova able to dodge that hammering as it goes about, but they're peeling for Kael'thas to grab this altar, and he successfully does so. The Condemn pulling in almost the entire team. Living Bomb going off here with that Flame Strike as well, and Psystorm. There's so much AoE damage. Just great synergy with the Condemn to pull them in, and then all the splash between the multi-shot build, the Psystorm on Tassadar, the Living Bomb, the Flame Strike. Every single one of these heroes has some kind of AoE, and it's just really, really powerful in this matchup. Now Falstad, also very good for this matchup, is the fact that he can fly from top to bottom. On these larger maps, like Towers of Doom, is just great utility for this hero to really just be able to get to the lanes more quickly, to soak, fly to altars, stay in a lane longer than usual. Very powerful. So now that we have Leeching Plasma here in Tassadar, he has some actual support ability. Other than his shield just denying damage, the target that is shielded for those 5 seconds will get the leech. He will get the 30% health returned from all damage done. So this is strictly from your auto attacks, but it's still very, very good for getting your health pool back up higher into a better position and sustaining through the fights, because that shield's going to come pretty much as soon as it expires, and you can continue healing yourself and denying damage being received. Very cool style of Tassadar, and it's become very popular ever since they made the changes to the shield. Now top lane, just kind of a duel here between Falstad and Raynor. Nothing crazy going on there, and we can see mid is just a battle of the warriors. Nova hasn't been able to really do a whole lot yet. She's looking around for those kills. She did go for gathering power, but she has to be constantly wary of that Oracle being used by Tassadar, and it's forcing her to be a little bit more passive in her positioning in some of these fights, where she might look to hide in a corner waiting for those big ambushes. But this is the kind of ambushes they want to do. wait for that rotation. Tassadar gets blown up instantly. The power of Power Slide follow up with the Lunar Flare, and even Tassadar, who's, you know, largely considered unkillable, much like Johanna, can't live through that. Johanna getting super low herself. She will go down. Just too many stuns and roots available here, and just two phenomenal pickoffs. Falstad did fly down. He's gonna have to back away. This is currently a big disadvantage situation where they don't have Johanna or Tassadar. 3v5, you're not gonna look for the fight, so both of these altars will go to the side of our right team. The Goofers picking up the lead here when it comes to the core health, and that is a great start for them to get those kind of pickoffs. Waiting in ambush like that, if you know, you're not expecting them to be waiting in those situations, so maybe you could say, yeah, he should use Oracle more often to deny those kind of plays, but it's hard to know that's going to be the case, and you want to save that Oracle for once you're actually in position to fight over the altars. It's just very, very smart positioning here by Goofers in that scenario. We're going to see the Pumpkin Bros picked up here on the left side here for the blue team, and you're not I don't know what they're gonna. This is a risky thing to do. They pick up the first pumpkin camp and they're coming here to the second one, and they're gonna be able to do it successfully, and that's just a bit of a blunder on the side of Goofers, just allowing for both those camps to be picked up, because now we can see a huge siege here on the bottom lane. That's 6 Pumpkin Bros that will dive on forward, doing a ton of damage to this keep here in the bottom, just about taking it out. Vala anxious to get the kill on that keep, and they pay with the life of Kalfas with a little bit too aggressive of a play there. Didn't really need to stay to get that. They could wait for another moment and kill the keep a bit later. There's no urgency in killing it. There's no inherent advantage that they get right now other than forcing enemy team to respond to it. Really, you would rather have that keep be really low right as the next altars are about to spawn. Then you wait and you destroy it because they can't respond to it immediately. So a bit of a misstep. It was actually, in my opinion, more in their favor if they were to let it live and then destroy it quickly before this next altar spawned, because then they force the hand on their opponents. But it looks like they just want to force them to fight down here. Then they're going to go up and take another camp here on the top and try to push out this top lane. Level 10 right around the corner. Experience in their favor due to the kill of that keep, so that is one of the nice parts of that, and that's probably their thought process. Let's just get our heroic abilities first. When you look at it from that perspective, it does have some merit there, but their window will be pretty much lost before this is even up and running. Gravity Lapse is thrown out. Oracle revealing Nova's location, and heroics are picked up here. So what do we got? We got Force Wall. We've got the Mighty Gust for the disengage. They can really seclude targets with those two heroics paired up. Then we've got Strafe with Blessed Shield and Phoenix. Plenty of damage, plenty of control of the fights, while the enemy team has that incredible engage with the Mosh Pit and the Sundering. Damage going out. Flame Strike going down onto Thrall, and he's not going to be able to live through that for a moment. Incredibly low is Tassadar in the backside, and the Nova clone will fall into the shadows. Now, Crowloo gets sniped way too aggressive with that position, considering the enemy team has a Nova, but they're almost able to take her out. Nasty going to live a little bit longer. Wow, they managed to just lose Thrall in that fight, nearly losing their Nova, picking up a 3 for nothing. A little bit too aggressive with the positioning here, trying to fight for that altar. Just kind of back up, make sure you have your shield active. Oracle was obviously on cooldown, so it could not be used, and Johanna, Gluehammer, just barely living, running away from Nasty and Beezy here in the top. All things said and done, it's now an experience lead in favor of the red team. Pumpkin Bros are back up in the bottom lane. These guys respond so very quickly, and they are ready for action. And in terms of builds, I mean, this is Tassadar's like full potential as a healer already pretty much. He just needs to get his own self-sustain to make it so that he can stay alive a lot easier himself. You notice they're focusing him a little bit more than he'd like. He was, you know, very low in that last fight, constantly hanging around in the backside. And that's going to be a lot harder for them to do as we go towards the late game with Prescience and then Dimensional Warp, because he's just got so much more sustain. Blade poking in, looking around this bottom lane. The wall has, you know, been destroyed much earlier, so it's still down, and these guys will dive onto this fort, and it looks like they want to siege it up. All right, they do have the health of the bottom keep here, and we do see the Sentinel will reveal. They should have seen at least Gluehammer here on the left. Now they're working on their own Pumpkin Bros. Falside getting this superior soak here in the top lane, which is going to even up the XP, but he needs to fly into the battle. They're charging on in. The Phoenix has been cast. Forest Wall to lock ETC in place, but he power slides forward, and they immediately just dive onto Kalfas, blowing him up. But ETC too far forward, a trade 1-for-1. Hyperion doing a lot of damage itself. Blade is in full-on retreat, will get behind his wall, and this force wall buying the time they need to slip away from this fight. The pumpkin camp is in fact picked up here by the red team. Goofer secure it, and the vault is enough to get away. Wow, Falstad barely living through Nasty's damage. He does have gathering power, so he's starting to hit harder and harder, but if he does die, he will lose that bonus ability power. And our glue hammer is starting to push out in mid lane. We do see 2 altars have spawned here in the top portion of the map. Level 13 about reached by both teams, but you know they're tapping off here. They're gonna be able to restore their health tanks. Heroics, just about everything's ready in 15 seconds or less. 13 here for precision. Shadowstalk just now coming up, and the Sentinel just barely not interrupting this altar capture here on the left. The right altar will be channeled here by BZ. There's no way they're going to try to contest this at this point in time. Just too risky to dive in, not knowing the location, especially when you consider that ETC could quickly just mosh pit your team. Diving into these close quarter situations when your opponent's channeling an altar and you don't have eyes on ETC, even if you can use Oracle, I'm pretty sure it was on cooldown in that situation, so they didn't try it. But even if you can use Oracle, it's risky because power slide into mosh pit can really, really ruin your day, and especially in those kind of positionings in these scenarios. So you got to be very careful, especially because they have such a great initiation with Sundering into power slide into mosh pit. Very strong synergy with those 2 heroes, and we see the pumpkin camp being picked up once again. Just another 20 seconds. This one's active once again. We do see the Sundering going on. Just Falstad will be the 1 kill, but that is more than enough. Now they did spend a heroic to kill a hero. 25 seconds to Falstad it up for a 60-second cooldown. Actually, they spent 2 heroics. But, you know, it's still a statement. It shows that you're never going to be safe. They can just make that snap call and pick off 1 or 2 of your heroes at a time. Top lane, we do see these Pumpkin Bros being picked up rather quickly. Sentinel revealing their location, and Bims needs to be careful not to step into this too far. Blessed Shield gets all 3 of them with the huge shield. Oh my goodness, instantly blown up. What a massive play. The huge synergy with the Blessed Shield into the force wall, locking them in place, and then just the crazy damage of Kael'thas with Living Bomb. Such a beautiful play here, and just, I mean, we saw the synergy of the Sundering into the power slide and the lunar flare. It's cool, right? But Blessed Shield onto 3 targets paired with a force wall. You know, they have it just back in their face. They go from getting 1 kill with the red team's combo to getting 3 kills with the blue team's combo. What's better? Mighty Gust, they're forcing Thrall back in the force wall, coming out once again. The amount of control they have is absolutely insane in this full support Tassadar style. This is the coolest thing. We talked about the meta of supports being heal bots for a long time in Heroes of the Storm, and Tassadar is not at all a heal bot. He is full on utility, making plays, picking up huge kills for the team, and securing them a massive advantage on the map. They're going to get the altar channeled here. All of this damage they're controlling. Right now, they had 6 keeps down just for a moment. The top keep just now reclaimed here by the red team, but they are so far ahead when it comes to just control of the battleground right now. They take out the bottom keep. Top keep just now reclaimed. They're working on the mid one. Pumpkin Bro is marching on forward. This will take out this keep. They're going to be sitting 6-2 once again in just a moment. Yep, now it's responding in their favor, and they just can continue to rotate around and force the enemy team to respond to their aggression. Going up here, making their way to the top lane while they know these are being responded to. 12 minutes in, we do see the tunnel has been opened here for both teams, but it's just like ring around the rosy. They're running around, they're destroying the keeps, making them respawn, they're getting the experience when they do that, giving their opponents experience as well, but they're going to just solidify themselves this strong advantage. Even this one shot that they're going to get off, they're only going to get the one for controlling all 3 for a little bit of time. That one damage could cost the red team the game at the end of the day. And while they're reclaiming their keeps, we see the boss picked up. Just full control here for our boys at Unonix. All right, well, that's just the power of a few pickoffs that you get on early, taking out 3 at once, then finding one other hero and picking them off. It adds up, and we see they're actually looking for an aggressive play. And this is the right idea. They expect them to be rotating down. They're looking for that aggressive play, but it's the pumpkins that are being escorted. Shadowstalk used, getting eyes on the Sentinel, now scouting out their location, and they're not willing to engage. They know that they'd be engaging on the blue team's keep. The pumpkins are just able to walk on over the line, doing 3 damage to the core here, and they just have full control. Force Wall does go down, but the Gravity Lapse does not end up connecting, but still it's enough. Lockdown for the kill, and Johanna, would you see the Mighty Gus disengaging Precision Strike, hitting nothing there, and they've got the single kill on the Warrior. 44 seconds left till ETC is back alive. They can just walk away from this, take out a keep, grab the altar, and then just continue their dominance of the battleground. Pumpkins are once again available here in the bottom, so they could happily capture those while they're down here for this altar, because it's still another 25 before ETC is able, and they cannot fight without ETC. They need him for that front line. It's too risky for Thrall to try to charge into a battle with that much damage, and wow, Nasty does end up getting caught out by the Oracle of Tassadar. Force Wall not able to lock him down in that situation, so he does slip away, but it's just even their poke, even their scouting is being denied here by the Clairvoyance, or in this case, Oracle of Tassadar. Okay, well, we see these Pumpkin guys being picked up here in the bottom top keep, now proclaimed here by our red team. But I mean, they're just constantly cleaning up their opponent's damage, right? That's the hard thing. How do they get back into this? They need to find pickoffs. They need to make something happen. Shadowstalk used. They're trying to make that play right now, but Mighty Gust disengaging half the team. ETC is a crucial part of that initiation. They need to collapse the multi-flank that we're looking for, sundering into a power slide, into a mosh pit. And Falstad, just instant response plus Force Wall to deny any of those plays from really happening. Sentinel will connect there on Kael'thas, revealing location of both Tassadar and Kael'thas, so they know roughly where they're trying to go, and they do have their heroics already, except Shadowstalk. They can still make these plays happen, but Oracle has been shutting down a lot of these maneuvers. Well, we do see the Sentinel hitting multiple targets with the Empower and the Pierce and Ranger. That's really going to reduce the cooldown of Shadowstalk, bringing it ready for action here. And they can try to make one of those plays happen once again. And they need to make it happen soon. Level 20 is very close here for our blue team. But losing Thrall like that is the absolute worst thing. Force Wall locking down our ETC player, the Mighty Gus, just a moment too late. And Falside was too far forward, so he ends up dying in that moment. 1-for-1, losing big damage to this, but the huge mosh pit. Hitting 2 targets is plentiful, but the shields are there in time to keep Tassadar alive, and they're going to turn around and blow up ETC. Dimensional Warp used to dodge the Precision Strike, and Krolu does survive that, and Gravity Lapse moving way far forward. Uberim is not able to kill Beezy, but it is still a 3-for-1 in a beautiful team fight, and now we have 3 altars spawning. I think that's enough to end the game if they manage to channel all 3. Nasty does have a lot of damage. Dimensional Warp used to juke the snipe that came out from Nasty. Krolu, this is a fight that's going to be hard to take. We see RZUF Razuf does manage to trade out, and the GG well played is called. Tassadar falls, but it doesn't matter because all 3 altars were successfully picked up here, and GG. The Tassadar full support build in its full power there, guys. It's pretty powerful, and it's so fun to watch because, you know, for a long time we complained and we talked about the meta being all about heal bots, right? Being about Uther with Divine Shield, and then Rhaegar with Ancestral Heal, and just massive heal bots. Just your only role is healing. But, you know, obviously we saw this was not the case here. Tassadar, great utility. And yes, he's healing the team. Yes, he's keeping them alive. But Force Wall making massive plays. We see that Oracle is just revealing exactly what your opponents are trying to do. So the vision is invaluable in the situations, and just really, really well used utility there. And on the opposite side of things, that's Tyrande. I mean, Tyrande and Tassadar have always been popular in their own right, but to see, you know, them dueling here as their supports, both very utility-centric heroes. Tyrande is a little bit more on, you know, she has vision with Sentinel, but a little bit more on the aggression side too with Lunar Flare. Really, really fun stuff. But that is the standard full support build for Tassadar. If you want to play him, if you're playing a quick match or Hero League and you want to rock the solo support Tassadar, this is how you build the hero. It is a quite powerful playstyle. But we've got one more replay to take a look at, and this is a little bit more of a unique style of Tassadar. Now, we talked about the build. This is that hybrid Archon build that really just charges into your face and slows you down and ruins your day. And I don't know. It's a really, really interesting build, and I'm pumped to check it out. So let's load on in here. It's P5 versus Infinity. I think this is round 3 of the tournament, and this is a double support composition. That is not the right button. These are the builds, though, as it loads slowly. Computer, yes, there we go. Those are the builds. It's the build on the right that we'll be taking a look at here, the Archon Tassadar, where we will go for, you could get Conjurer's Pursuit if you prefer, and Conjurer's Pursuit would be funny because you would literally be choosing the first option at every single tier in this build. So if you want to make it really easy for yourself, you literally just hit Control 1 every time you pick a talent. But this is what's going on. All right, well, let's take a look at what's going on with these compositions. So on the left side, the blue team, we have Jaina, Tychus, Sylvanas, Uther, and then Nazeebo. And this is a double specialist build, very strong push potential in Garden of Terror, to do a lot with that. And then, of course, Jaina, she's got great push too. And Tychus, a very uncommon pick. Rather surprised to see him played in a tournament in general. Also, falling out of favor is we haven't seen a whole lot of Nazeebo, and we haven't seen a whole lot of Zeratul in competitive play at the highest level. So seeing these heroes played in this game is actually going to be quite the treat. To why does it say there's 2 Jainas? This was a tournament match. That is the weirdest thing I've ever seen, guys. But I didn't realize this before, and I'm actually baffled. A tournament match actually had double Jaina? Anyways, let's talk about this Tassadar build, because that's what actually matters in this game, is we're just highlighting Conjurer. Do I say it wrong? Conjurer? I'm sorry, guys. Conjurer's Pursuit. That's a Conjurer. Anyways, Tassadar. He's going for Psi Infusion here at level 1. And Psi Infusion, again, you go for Conjurer's Pursuit instead of Psi Infusion, just because it's really all about that mana retention. And I feel like I might be getting trolled. This is not the correct replay from the tournament, but I don't care. We're casting this game either way. Now, Zeratul's a hero that wants to get in, do as much damage as he can, and get out. And he's going in auto tag style. So with Tassadar shielding, he's really able to go in, do that damage, and then immediately just blink out of there. So it's very, very interesting to see this Protoss brother pairing, and we'll see how well it works out for them in this game. Komodo Dragon is just grabbing all his seeds. I'm actually pretty convinced this is not an actual tournament replay, but that's fine. And Komodo Dragon will end up getting destroyed here. All right, Marty stepping on forward. The 1v3, able to successfully dissuade them from killing him by throwing down the blizzard and then just walking away. Zeratul not done yet. He's low on health, but he's got that close by Tassadar to provide him with the shields if he goes in here. Zeba looking for that zombie wall. Nope, just going to throw spiders down and tank all of the damage of this blizzard. Marty taking a lot of damage, but will survive. Zeratul has to blink away, and we see this Nazeebo. Yeah, it is double Nazeebo, double Jaina. That's so weird. Is working on this Plant Terror. Minions battling it out here in the mid lane. Bottom lane, yeah, they're just kind of fighting, doing their thing. But the key thing here to remember is that this is not a solo support Tassadar. So his primary role isn't to be a support. He's got Malfurion for that. He's going to full regrowth build. Oh, the stomp there from the boss. A lot of damage done to Trendy. Got to be very careful in this situation. Tychus very good at just blowing through these health pools of the plant terrorists, but diving forward, getting rooted by Malfurion, gonna take so much damage right there, not gonna quite die. Lone support Uther doing the best he can. Zeratul walks right into that root of the plant terror, and yeah, we're gonna change the team names to Esports Kappa, because this cannot be right. Okay, and they're just gonna slowly step away. Garden Terror, the first night phase so far has been dominated by Esports. Kappa really needs to catch up. We see the Plant Terror is already ready. It's going to be Sylvanas stepping in and grabbing the drive here to drive this Plant Terror. Mid lane, Tycho loses his life, but another needs to keep on running. He's taking a lot of damage himself. Butterbus has got to go back to the butter factory to get more butter for his health bar, and the Plant Terror has made its way here to the bottom keep. Throwing the overgrowth way too close to the structure, you want to put it in a much safer location, harder for them to focus down, even if you're not hitting the well in this other tower. He was only hitting this other well. So that's definitely something you can do much more efficiently. Throw it behind you, protect it to the best of your ability. The Overgrowth or the Queen's Curse onto Zeratul will eliminate him rather quickly. Queen's Curse in a great position this time. Just hitting Malfurion, but forced in position. But again, this Queen's Curse, or the Overgrowth needs to be further back. Just put it behind you, step forward, make it so they can't power it down so quickly, because not only does it do damage, but it stops their structures from firing. And you just really need to make it as hard as possible for them to actually step forward and hit that Overgrowth when you throw it out. Mid lane, Overgrowth this time. Butterbus, he's got to work on this. Doesn't want to step in that Queen's Curse. Yeah, he's working on it. Nice. But again, way too far forward. Plant Terror doing a fair amount of damage. Tassadar's build, you know, he's got that Leech of Plasma, he's got Hollow's Embrace. It looks like it's a full-on support style so far, but things are about to get weird. Sylvanas throwing down everything she has and actually going for the poison there on another. Takano was trying to get there for the shields, and Zeratul said, no, man, Tassadar, I don't want your shields. I would rather die. So Tassadar gave up. He's like, you know what, dude? If you want to die, I'm going to leave you to die. This is some esports action, Kappa. All right. Silver Shadow, looking to be the better Jaina in this game, but Marty says none of that. Looking for that kill. Butterbus dies to the blows with the double kill. Marty really just showing that alpha Jaina skills. Supreme dominance here at the esports level, my friends. And yeah, this is really what esports is all about. Now we see this Plant Terror. We saw the domination of this first night phase here by the blue team. They're continuing to dominate it, working here on this top Plant Terror. Komodo Dragon just tanking the damage from this beast. He's a beast himself, but no, we do see that Sylvanas has fallen. Hunting Wave not able to get her out of there. Now we're seeing them rotate up. Takato needs to use that Oracle, get eyes on the enemy team. Should be popping it right now, but doesn't even care where they might be. Another just wants to step into the stuns and die immediately, and that's exactly what he'll do successfully. He wanted it, and he got exactly what he wanted. Just gonna launch forward with the Odin because it's a tank, right? You want to be in the face of your enemy's Divine Shield there. Not enough for Marty to survive. And Komodo Dragon, one more shot. Do it. And he misses everything. Congratulations, Komodo Dragon. Go home. You're gonna. Oh, he does it. You got to kill him. Worth, value. All right, Tassadar build. Looking at it here. Where's that heroic? He's there only level 9. God, that is so far away. And I'm now realizing that my UI. Oh no, it doesn't cover the experience bar. I fixed it. Yes. All right, Komodo Dragon, pretty low. Another, looking to get another kill. But the heals from Uther are too strong. And Jad needs to throw down the fat roots right now. The grenade, not quite enough. Another, does he have the Singularity Spike? The Hammer of Justice, buying the time that Tygus needs to slip on out of there. Thank you. And then Willing Arrow onto Zeratul. This is definitely a quick match if he's thanking his teammate, because no one in Hero League thanks their teammates. All right, well, we can see the damage being done here onto Komodo Dragon. He has no fear. Spiders don't scare him. Walking on home, but Butterbus will also manage to slip away, and that globe is the maximum here as Marty just wants to slaughter his opponent, stepping forward. Frostbolt onto the wall. Wall was his target. He knew that wall had to take some damage, or else it would be too structurally sound. Gargantuan slipping into the shadows, crawling at the ground. That is a terrifying thought. If you had ever been pulled into the ground like that, you would hate your life. Like, there's no other way to put it. You would simply hate your life. Tassadar, he's got that fat ability called Archon, an ancient heroic that is no longer seen in competitive play, but here in the world of quick match that I thought was actually a tournament VOD, but I'm foolish. It's being seen. All right, zombie walls. Ring of Frost. Ravenous Spirit is running on it. It's just dancing around. It doesn't want to hit anything. Oh, it found a target. Let's go. Oh, it switched target. Nice. All right. Takato. What are you going to do, buddy? I want to see your super secret Archon build. I want to see it, man. Tranquility. After everyone has left the fight, let's use Tranquility. Nice, but Silver Shadow will survive. Doesn't want that Tranquility heals anyways. Oh, the regrowth is all he needs because the full regrowth build. Really just putting everything in the stocks into regrowth. And we have a 3-level lead here currently by the blue team. Kubi is still sick, and I'm getting sick as well. But it's okay, team. It's okay, stream. We're going to carry on. We're going to live on. And Takato is going to show us the sweet powers of Archon in this hybrid build.
The night comes, heroes. Remember.
Okay, Zebo, he took him 10 years, but he did successfully get this mercenary camp. We saw that about 10 years ago, and we do see the rest of the team successfully grab this giant camp here in the top. Malfurion, Silver Shadow, Butterbus. What are you guys going to do? Oh, it's a 2v3, but the Jaina damage is too much. That Water Ellie coming out, and they managed to get that first kill. Butterbus full on running away. Not going to get out of here. Zeba will fall on both sides, but it's a 3-for-1 trade at the end of the day. And the blue team, sitting on that 2-level lead, about to get another dominant night phase by the look of things. Tassadar here in the bottom, just kind of going into his little dimensional phase. Gonna help another here in the bottom. Try to deny these knights that have been alive and fighting heroes for so very long their quest to march on in. They will fall rather quickly, but we do see this plant terror being worked on. This Tychus has no fear whatsoever of anything. Spiders, giant roots, big stomps. Oh, ooh, nice moves, Komodo Dragon. Top lane Giants doing a bit of dumb, but yeah, they're not really gonna get too far forward here, and we're gonna see this guy picked up. That is the second Terra in a row. 48 seeds total have been picked up by the red team so far this game. Another does dodge the haunting wave there of Sylvanas, but there is enough seeds here for our red team to get a plant tear. If they were to commit to a fight here on the plant tear, they could potentially get one for themselves. Komodo Dragon does end up falling. Shadow Assault just going for it, but the Hammer of Justice buying the time that another needs to stay alive, stepping out of that tranquility and then waddling around while the minions smack him in the face. Not the most esports thing I've ever seen. Top lane plant terror trendy, gonna trend on forward, and Butterbus has been waiting in the shadows. Haha, I have frogs and spiders for you. But apparently that's all he wants to do is throw one ability, then kind of look at this bush. He's gonna go. He really doesn't know what he. What am I watching? Auto attack it. It's not gonna come kill you. You have full health. Butterbus, man, you need to auto attack this thing. It's not gonna hit you that hard. You can like get behind your fort, throwing spiders on it. Like you could be doing way more deep. You have not auto attacked once. I will watch you until you auto attack. You have an auto attack. He still hasn't auto attacked. Oh my god! What did? Oh well, Trent is just gonna stand in that ravenous spirit though, so. The blue team is now going to work on a giant camp, and they'll pick those guys up rather happily and then make their way up here to the plant tear. All right, now they're going to get all these seeds that we talked about being potential for the red team to maybe get above that 48 number. Their total seeds collected this game. Takato, he just can't do it. Now, he's went with this really interesting build that I was super excited to, you know, see its possible potential, but feel like I might have to test it out myself at this point. All right, Butterbus. The Wailing Arrow used, but not in time to stop that. Ooh, that was a nice Ring of Frost. Blew up Tychus like he was nothing. And now we see Zeratul going forward and dying immediately. Shadow Assault, a little bit unorthodox. Archos gonna slip away. Conjurer's Pursuit, really been paying off well this game. Conjurer's Pursuit. Malfurion, he just likes leaves. He actually grabbed no talents other than leaves. Leaves, and leaves. Sick esports builds. Marty gets martyred and ends up falling. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's okay. We're gonna run with it. Bottom lane completely pushed out here by the blue team, but the experience has evened out quite a bit. At one point, it was a 3-level lead. And right now, we do see it 16 to 17. Even talent tier for both teams, but this is when the Tassadar's build is really coming in. And, you know, I've read this build. I saw it, and I said, this sounds actually really quite cool. So basically the concept here, and I don't necessarily think that you need to go for Kala's Embrace and Leeching Plasma, but the theory that I was able to see is, I like this idea too, is you get the big shields, you get the self-heals, you get the Archon, so your self-heals are going to do a lot, right? Leeching Plasma, so shields up, Archon, slow them down by 20% for 1.5 seconds every time you auto attack, and then move 25% faster while your shields are active. So in a 1v1 scenario, this Tassadar is going to be an absolute beast. And this build is like a really, really cool idea. And actually, at this point in time, I've just decided this and I'm announcing this. I want you guys to play with this build. And I want you guys to submit me replays for tomorrow's daily quest, because I'm specifically going to cast this build of Tassadar. It will be the return of Wonky Wednesday. Every Wednesday we'll do custom builds like this. We'll do custom compositions that I will set as a challenge each week. It will be a challenge. I want to see you guys make this build successful, because it has potential to be a beastly brawling Tassadar, and I want to see it. Show me what you got. Anyways, let's see what this Tassadar's got. So, taco dough. I want to eat tacos, though. Is just kind of pacing around. Hasn't found his moment. You see that slow. He channels a little laser beam on the target. Polymorph there onto our Zeratul, who will end up dying like nothing. Blinking into a Queen's Curse usually doesn't work out all that well, and Jaina is dead as well. Born Identity, boys, or Bound Identity, is stepping forward and slamming away in that Ravenous Spirit defense. How can they stop it? Well, they just throw a Queen's Curse on it, actually, and it just stops. Esports. All right, well, they've made their way onto this core. I'd love to see this Tassadar do something. It would be really cool if he would pop into Archon mode and chase a target, even just try it. But I don't think we're going to get it, so I'm really relying on you guys on doing that tonight. Just playing this build and busting out the sick Tassadar esports, because I got such high hopes for this replay. Level 1 talent is a mana retention talent. It's of your choice. One of the two. Conjurer's Pursuit. Conjurers? Is that Conjurers? I think I said it right. Conjure. Like, to conjure something. Oh, it all makes so much sense now, stream. Oh, well. That second replay was a bit fraudulent. And it's okay. But the first replay, that's the go-to. Remember here that the first talent should be one of the mana retention talents. Reinforced structures, not really the ideal talent here, because I clicked the wrong thing when I made this graphic. Oops on me. But you'd want to go for Conjurer's Pursuit, or either the mana retention one that they're all called the same thing. Scion Fusion, that one. It sounds like an energy drink for Protoss. Scion Fusion, get powered up today. I would buy that. Yes, so tomorrow will be the return of Wonky Wednesday, which means by tomorrow's episode, I need you guys to send me replays of that Tassadar build. I will cast 2 to 3 games of that build, selected randomly from my inbox, giving preference to anyone that does it in Hero League. Oh God, I'm a bad person. Anyways, yes. So, and if you do play the Hero League game, please show me the draft order if you can remember it. Screen cap it. Just type it out for me, whatever it is, because I'd like to know that kind of stuff for Hero League as often as possible. Of course, you can submit any replay whatsoever to solidjakegg@gmail.com, and I will be doing that. I will be doing random replays for Educast on Friday. Now, if you have a specific thing that you're looking for feedback on, or a specific thing in general, you can just leave some info in your email. Let me know your MMR, Hero League, whatever. I do like to know draft orders for Hero League. It makes it very interesting for me to maybe even compliment or comment on how drafting could have been a little bit different for your team, what might have been more beneficial, yada, 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 yada. That does it for the Daily Quest number 31. I am going to be resting up. I might stream a bit later today, but I am a bit ill, so I'm taking it easy right now. And I just don't want to fall into the plague that Kubi has because he's actually really sick. So I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to rest as much as I can. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later.